Well, hey. Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, and that can only mean one thing. It's the Young Pro Showcase. So we got a great show, great segment story for you today. We're going to talk about what it takes to get to the next level. We have a few folks on that have definitely been leveling up, hitting some of the top ranks in our business. They've been with us not very long. So probably stories that you haven't heard before if you've been around the Young Pros and Legal Shield. And if you're on, whatever you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube, make sure to drop something in the chat box in the comment section. Let us know where you're at. So I see Sanella on YouTube. Our YouTube is at youngproshowcase.com. Each week, you can always go to youngproshowcase.com and get the latest show or piece of video content, whatever we're doing that week. Karima, what's going on? Karima, I don't even know if you're back yet. You've been somewhere tropical for way too long, sister. You need to get back to work. I'm just kidding. Glad you're hanging out with us. And for everybody else, say hi. Kelia, I don't know if I'm saying that your name, but New York, glad to have you. So we got YouTube in the house. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring a couple of gentlemen on with me here. Guys, what's going on? So we have out of Georgia, Mr. Corey Jenkins, who literally just hit last month our senior director position in the company. That's literally one level away from our top executive director rank. And we have Michel Hancock out of North Carolina, who just did the same. And so this is fresh, right? They just did this. And so if anybody's like, how do I get more people to do that? Or how do I do that? Right. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, you can go and follow the Young Pros on Instagram at @LS_Young Pro, or just type in Young Pros Official. That'll take you straight to the page. And you can actually hear a bit more about Michel's story, because that was a post that we had like 3 posts ago. And you'll probably see Corey Jenkins on there pretty soon as well. But for anybody that's on Facebook, right, this is the official Young Pros Facebook page, YouTube page for the entire company. So go ahead, like the video, that helps us out, and subscribe to the channel. So anytime we have a show, anytime we have a piece of content or a story, maybe you'd like to share it with somebody else, or somebody could relate to that story we're sharing, right? You can be up to date on everything that we're putting out. So go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into it, guys. By the way, do I have an echo? You guys hear me echoing? No? Sound good? A little bit. Hang on here. What could that be coming from? I'm actually not sure what it's coming from. Anyway, I'll look while we're going on. So no worries. But oh, that's what it is right there. Boom. I think I just took care of it. Anyway, so guys, you just hit this rank. So real quick, 30 seconds. We're going to go out to Michel first. 30 seconds. Just catch us up to speed on your story in relation to our business, right? Where were you before? How long have you been in? What's the ride been like? 30 to 60 seconds.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Mr. Lockhart. Can you hear me all right?
Perfect.
Look, man, Michel Hancock out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, originally out of Washington, D.C., medically retired out of the United States Marine Corps, hoorah. Semper Fi, the world's finest fighting force. But before I got started with Legal Shield, I was so broke I couldn't afford to buy my wife a $1 menu fry, and I was praying for something better, man. And we had our 6th child on the way, so we had a whole starting 5 plus a sub on the way. So if y'all like basketball, I got the squad for you. They're always ready to run. But literally, man, I prayed for something better. I wanted to be in a better position to take care of my family. I wanted to be in a position to be able to provide more for my church and do more philanthropy and more outreach out in the community. And no sooner than I got finished that prayer, man, Legal Shield found me at an ATM withdrawing money out of my wife's account to buy her a gift for sticking it out with me so long and just constantly asking me what is it that we needed to do in order to get me in a place where I was happy. Fast forward 4 years later, man, as the song says, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up, baby. All the way up, right back to you, sir.
I like it. Incredible. Corey, out to you. Same thing. 30, 60 seconds. What we need to know about Corey.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Lockhart. I have worked previously as a lifeguard, as a cashier, as a hotel desk clerk. I was living in Germany for I study language. just for fun. I was living out there when the virus came back to the United States. Almost had to start life all over. I didn't have a job lined up. Over 2-3 days, made that hard decision just to leave behind everything because I only have family here and really wanted to work from home by that point. Even though I have enjoyed every job that I did up until Legal Shield, I really didn't want to do retail anymore. And I knew that to just simply start some job and to save the money again, only to move back and to go and to get another job was not going to really support me for all of the dreams that I have to fulfill. One day I do want to get married myself. One day I do want to have a family, children. Before that even takes place, I would like to proceed to run around the globe. And I couldn't do that just simply working at some job, saving some money. I needed something to build up. I needed to build myself up where I could see where I could become a substantially better Corey. And even though I was not a bad Corey, but there was room for much improvement, and I'm very grateful for Legal Shield for that today. I'm getting ready to do a little bit of movement around the country. I'm going to hit North Carolina for about 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go stay in Texas with my buddy until after he gets married in July. Had it not been for Legal Shield, that would not be possible for me. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Mr. Lockhart.
Well, I knew about the Texas thing because we've talked, but I didn't know about the North Carolina. Where are you going to North Carolina?
I'm actually going to stay with our business partner for a little bit.
Oh, right. Up in near Greensboro. And Michel, where are you located again? I was thinking about this yesterday, and I couldn't remember where you're at.
I'm right here in Jacksonville, Jacksonville.
Yeah,
so I think a little bit away, not too far, but right up the street from Greenville.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I know where that's at. I was a North Carolina guy myself. So, okay. So talk to me about this, right? So you touched on it a little bit. When you started, when you first took and you're like, boom, okay, I'm going to do this. And you sat down day one and you're thinking about what is the possibilities, what you want to do, whatever was going through your head, whatever that may be. Michel, I'll go to you first. What was like the thing? What was your goal? And maybe you didn't have a goal. Maybe it was just like, well, if I could just do X and Y, Z, if I could just make a little, like whatever you were thinking, like as far as what you could accomplish or hope to accomplish, what was that?
Yeah, exactly. I think you said it right, man. I did not have a goal. It was just more of I wonder what my life would look like. I think ET said it best. You deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave 120%. And since we're going to see him coming up here in next couple of months, but that was what it was, man. I would always hear a lot of the ring earners say and train on that they push for their organization to do 100 3-ways a month. And what I said, like
3-way calls, just
100 3-way calls. Yeah.
I mean, it's 2021, man. You just got to,
Yeah.
Oh no.
100 3-way calls. Yes. 100 3-way calls a month. And I just, I said, I wonder what my life would look like if I did 100 3-way calls a month. They push for organization, generally probably roughly between 50 and 100 people. So that's about 1 to 2 3-way phone calls per person. And I said, I wonder what it would look like if I personally just did 100 3-way phone calls. And once I got started, I just couldn't stop.
Okay. I'm going to come back to the 3-way call. That's I've heard you say that before. I'd like to explore that. Corey, obviously, we work together every day, and I know, but for everybody out there, what were you thinking? And, what was like, okay, I'm going to do this. What do I hope to get out of it? Where were you at mentally?
So, what I tell you what, I think the largest question that everyone might be looking to have answered is specifically how much money that I wanted to make. I especially at the beginning, I couldn't tell you because I honestly was not sure how much money I even needed. And my dreams are ones that they befall me randomly. I just knew going into it, I saw from afar at the very beginning that whatever costs would be needed to fulfill the dreams that proceeded to befall me, needing to move overseas for foreign language, needing to go see to the needs of this buddy of mine in Texas, our business partner in North Carolina, that these also have influence on other people. I just knew that Legal Shield could get me the finances to be able to do that. I don't want anyone else to really finance that. I personally and proud of, and kind of take pride in being able to finance those things myself, even where other people might see it fit and acceptable to, be able to just receive funds for it or whatever. I really don't want to do that. I would rather, take care of that myself. And Legal Shield has enabled me to do that. And that is what I was looking at the beginning, that I could get there. And thus far, my experiences has been so.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And for everybody watching, right, what, if you're working with this, right, what did you want, or what do you want? Put in the comment section. We'd love to hear, what you're thinking, kind of, chat along with us, if you will. So awesome. So, I mean, everybody has some goals. And so let's talk about, since you've been in, I'm going to go back to you, Corey. And maybe you can just touch on a little bit, right? Like you just hit this new level, right? You're shooting for the executive very soon, right? You're killing it. But when it started, wasn't the case. A little bit bumpy, right? And so we're gonna start there, right? Just tell me, because I know the story. Tell me a little bit about how it was in the beginning. Maybe Michel, you can jump in, and then we're gonna do a second part, which is, basically what were some of the key things, right? What maybe were some of the habits? What were some of the skills? What were some of the things that you started doing that started leading to the successes? But I want to hear about the first little bit.
So at the very beginning, I would like for everyone to know, because now where I am now, don't think that I did not, have a beginning, have a past in Legal Shield. My first 4 or 5 months, I did not make any money. And I'm crying on the inside just thinking about it, the rejection that I faced. And so, at the beginning, I learned a little bit about the product. One of the lesser things that, having learned some more about that enabled me to move further. Another thing was I really needed to learn how to be a salesman. And in learning how to be a salesman, I learned that that my business is not indeed the product, rather people. That I need to be selling myself as well, is really what I'm selling, more substantially more so than the product, honestly. Also how to, when I say how to be a salesman as well, how to, that I am the boss. I had to transition from those my first 6 years of life working a job, being told what to do, to being able to tell others what to do. That was very difficult. That was the most, I'm not sure if the word colossal is exaggerates it. However, for me, that made the colossal change between being able to sell myself and not. I had to be assertive in a way that I did not feel was my place or have the courage to do so at the beginning, but I knew that it was necessary. So I had to force that courage to come. And when you do something, that's bad grammar, but when you rip that bandage off, and do proceed forward with that, what you fear the most, you will get over it. You will get to where the one who is where you want to be says you will be, if you follow them.
Yeah. And I hope you don't mind me sharing, but we were having a conversation. It was like a week or two ago about, a situation and a customer, and you're like, what do you think I should do? Did I handle this situation right? And I'm like, well, you're the boss. You call the shots. You know what I mean? You decide how you want to handle that. And he's like, I never thought of it. I guess I am the boss. Right. And so, and that could be a lot of things for, watching it. It could be, asking somebody for the sale. Right. And, hey, are you ready? Let's get you enrolled. Let me show you how to do it. It could be that. It could be lots of things. We certainly talked about those things. So that's kind of funny, right? Sometimes we want to be too nice. We want to be overly accommodating. Sometimes at the peril of losing business, because we don't want to offend anybody. But Michel, back over to you. How was the beginning of your journey here?
Are we talking about with Legal Shield, or are we talking about? Okay, good to go.
Yes.
Man, it was rocky. It was rocky. I'm just going to be honest with you. I had my first membership sale was done. I didn't even take part in the transaction, bro. My sponsor, Mr. Wayne Jackson, made my first membership sale for me while I was in the recovery room right after my wife delivered our 6th child.
Oh,
And so I didn't. I don't know what the beginning was like because I wasn't there for half of it. you know,
it's great.
but throughout the process, man, if I can just be completely transparent, bro. We had our home repossessed, not repossessed, but foreclosed on. We had about 2 or 3 vehicles repossessed in the process, and it was my fault. And it took me a while to realize that it was my fault. But I kept attempting to blame Legal Shield, but every time I get on one of the leadership shows or something like that, I would always see success. And I realized very quickly that it wasn't Legal Shield, it was Hancock. And so I said, okay, what does Hancock need to do to fix this? And just to be honest with you, we stayed with a church member for a couple months, but pretty much, man, my wife and I and our family, we were homeless for a little bit. And I cried myself to sleep and not sleeping at night. And I said, it will never, ever, ever happen again. I said, I will do anything within my power. I said, God, I prayed for an opportunity. You gave it to me and I gaffed it off. So I apologize. If you just give me one more opportunity, I'll make it work. I'll do any and everything I did by any great means necessary. That's my slogan for 2021, by any great means necessary. And, just starting to get consistent with the activity. And I've heard you say it before. I've heard other leaders say it before. One day you wake up, and when you wake up, you don't realize it, but everything catches up to you, and you're trying to go back and figure out exactly what it was that continued, or what it was that you did that pushed you over the top. And before I realized it, we were at the 6th or the 7th of the month, and I was only about I was right at like $400 in premium organizationally, going towards senior director. And I'm like, what in the world happened? I don't know, but I'm just going to keep running anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's like compounded interest, right? You got your money in the bank, or not the bank. There's no compounding interest in the bank these days. But you got your money in the investment, and over time, it's a ball rolling down a hill, right? It just gains more steam, and the business in general is like that, right? It's not a straight line. It's like, I'm going. Yeah, there's a bunch of that. But then it's like it spikes because of all of the compounded effects, the compound interest that you've been laying those tracks and stuff. And
no overnight success, as you like to say.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, and of course, going back to Corey, right? Like he, the first couple months now, I do need to correct it, Corey. You said you didn't get paid for 4 or 5 months. It wasn't quite that bad, right? It was. Maybe didn't get paid much for first 4 or 5 months, but it was the first maybe 3. But he's looking at me. He's like, I don't know. It felt like forever.
It certainly did. It certainly.
But still, the point remains. So, what month are you now?
I am. This is number 9.
9. Okay.
9. Month
9. You've had some pretty. Yeah. Michel's like, look at this guy over here. month 9, senior director. I haven't checked, and I don't know if you've checked, but like this close to senior director this month, this month already, you know what I mean? And pushing for the next level. And I think you'll hit it, right? Everybody's watching. So I'm kind of calling you out here a little bit, but that was 9 months, you know what I mean? So, we say there's no overnight success, but you go from, how do I make this work, to 9 months later, almost hitting one of the top levels in the company, second to the top, certainly. So, you know what I mean? So maybe success, for all of us looks a lot bigger than what we think. You know what I mean? Because if you can do it in a year, it's like, well, what could you do with 2? What could you do with 5? Right. And certainly, we always talk about long-term goals, but let's not forget, right? We got to win today. Right? I heard this crazy saying. This guy was talking. He goes, this is what he said. I'm just quoting. I didn't say this. He goes, 5-year plans are for losers. He's like, I want to win today. I was like, I don't know. I can kind of get down on that. But anyway, so Michel, let's kind of go back, right? So you're hitting a good track right now. You got a lot of momentum in your team. And then I want to go back about the 100 three-way calls in a month. Right? Everybody needs to listen up. Has anybody, what's the most 3-way calls in a month that you've ever done personally, right? If you have a number in your head, please put it in the comment section of how many 3-way calls you've ever done in a month. So, Michel, man, tell us the story about 100 3-way calls and how many what's your biggest number? How many have you done?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. My goal is 100. The most amount that I have done is 82. The
That's
most
strong.
amount that I have done is 82 personal three-way calls, and that's me prospecting and having people look at the information. But the story behind it is, like I said, I kept hearing all of the leaders say, I push for my organization to do 100 three-way phone calls a month. Three-way calls make three, as we say in the business, three ways make paydays, but three-way calls make paydays. And what happened, man? I said, you know what? I want to know what it would feel like. I just want to know what it would feel like to be able to do 100 three-way phone calls. And I never felt bad that I did not hit 100. I never felt bad because I always realized that in the pursuit of who I was becoming. And my thought process behind it was I had the skill set. I just didn't have the people to teach it to. I had the skill set. I just didn't have the people to teach it to, you know, and I think what really got me through that tough time of the houses being, the home being foreclosed on and the cars being repossessed was Mike Hume's training back when it was still prepaid legal, when he said, you know, when you have a platinum executive director quit, then you come talk to me. And you know what I'm talking about. And my organization, man, I think if I look in my back office, I got roughly close to about 200 associates within my organization. And I'd say over in less than a year, I'd say probably about 120 of them just said, bye. No phone calls, no nothing. They all just disappeared. And from there, I said, you know what? Mike Hume said, you know, if you're going to make it, you're going to make it. You just got to continue to move forward. So he said, it's impossible to stop a man or woman that will not quit. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I promised my wife that everything was going to be okay and that we were going to be way beyond where we were at when we lost everything. And I said, we're coming back for more than what we lost.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. And then Corey, I mean, so we had a conversation not too long ago where I feel like you've kind of rounded another corner here recently. Like there's been several times, you know, you talk about, you know, being the boss. You know, we talked about months and months ago, you were on our convention talking about controlling the call, where you just kind of were letting other people tell you what's next and that. But here recently, I felt like you rounded another corner on maybe some, you know, I don't know if we want to call it self-management, time management things that you really found that's helpful, which since you've done that, like you've been crushing it, right? So you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that's right. No, thus far, this is the most I feel called out. It's like I'm almost embarrassed, but at the same time, I'm incredibly glad you asked because these things need to help someone else. So yes, those two things, you touched on them both. Number one, yes. So we recently switched over to, you know, doing the presentations on Zoom instead of doing phone calls. One of those ways of telling me how to control the call was by, you know, seeing to it that I'm asking questions constantly, that I am the one that sees to it, that it is not just they tell me what's wrong, I do a presentation and then wait and listen to the crickets until they speak. Rather, that I see to it that there's conversation going on that makes the Zoom calls a lot longer, makes it difficult to set up appointments during the day. And I am used to, maybe I'll be judged, maybe not, that's all right, either way. I used to get out of bed at 7:15, 7:30 every morning, you know, looking to start work by 9. But, you know, I knew what it would take for me to make sales and how many I had to do and make and so forth, which, may I add in, at the time, I was not selling as much premium as I am now. So one more time, colossal difference. Hope that's not exaggerated. And so, you know, I have now I get up at 5 a.m. so I can be Corey for a few hours and have my time to just be indecisive about what time to shower, what to put on, when to make my tea, you know, and so forth. I needed time for that. You know, what time to pray, time to just, you know, sit and think. And then by the time it is time to make calls, I'm really ready to do that. Corey has been Corey. And then I can, you know, I can also extremely put on my professional voice, and I can hold that for so many hours until it's all right to return to this one.
That's real. That's real. That's real. That's incredible.
If I
So,
may, Mr. Lockhart, one more
yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah.
The second one, when it comes to what I learned to control. So, if I think for a moment, I almost forgot what it was. Yes. So, whenever having trouble, especially with this, with getting people onto Zoom and deciding what to do about that, when they would like to tell me why they feel super inconvenienced by my insisting that we hop on Zoom so that it's better for them and better for myself. It's better for them because they get to see the information. They get to actually see how they're helped. They get to see the full presentation. They not only get the help that they're specifically looking for, but they get more for the same amount of money that they're going to pay anyway. Second of all, it's better for me. It's better for business. It's better for my time. This might sound insensitive. It does in my own ears, but for business, I may not ignore it anymore. I don't have the time to give a verbal presentation for someone to tell me that I'm scamming them when I'm not. I do not have time for that anymore. And frankly, I don't have the emotional strength to proceed to carry hearing that. Thank you, Mr. Lockhart.
And just, just so everybody kind of has a frame of reference, right? Like sometimes we can get so stuck on a text message, stuck on the phone. We're reaching out to somebody. We're trying to get them the information, however we're trying to get them, whether it be by video or meeting or whatever the case may be. And you get stuck in a place where you're on the phone, you're on a text, and they're trying to get information out of you versus just doing the appointment, right? Whether that be, me and Michel on Zoom, or, he's going to see, information and we agree to come back at a certain time and talk about it, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times we can get stuck in that middle ground and we're not making any progress, right? We're not making any progress versus just, I had this old, in my former life, I was working in the insurance industry. I had this old sales manager, and anybody who's had like an old school sales manager, you get all these like classic one-liners and words of wisdom. And, but the old saying was, see the people, tell the story, see the people, tell the story. Right. I don't know if that's changed so much. The tools are different, but the goal is still the same. See the people, tell the story. But, so anyway, Michel, so, tell us about what's going on, right? You can, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but right, like you've officially, is it official?
Just about. I mean, it is official. It is official. We just,
okay.
It is official.
Okay. So you've officially for the first time. So in the comment section, right? Congratulations to Michel. Please give him some love. He's officially hit senior director, and he was telling me a little bit about what's going on in his team, how exciting it is, and the momentum and everything. And I've always said and thought, because this was certainly my experience, right? It took me a long time to figure myself out in relation to the business, right? How to be consistent, how to speak, how to interact, how to lead, how to get sales, how to get recruits, like all this stuff. It took the longest for me to figure myself out and get to executive director, right? Back when I did it, we didn't have senior director. Once I did that, I had people on my team that did it in a fraction of the time, right? A fraction of the time. So you got a little bit of that going on yourself, don't you?
I do. Man, what it looked like was, sorry, I was texting a prospect. That's why I kept looking down.
He's in it. He's in it.
What it looked like, man, was, I'm going to tell you what it was. I kept hearing the phrase over and over in my head was, what does your music sound like to other people? What does your music sound like to other people? And I would look at people like yourself. I would look at like Darnell Self. I would look at Brian Carruthers. And I'm like, man, it's something like I hate to put it this way. I'm like, dude, are they on speed or something? Like, what is it? And then when I finally realized the way that I would talk to people, like Corey said, look, I don't have time to do a verbal presentation. I had somebody text me and was like, can you just explain it over text? I was like, no. Have a nice day. I'm sorry. You don't want to watch the video. Have a nice day. But what it was I started to record. My sponsor always said, hey, record yourself when you do a presentation, record yourself.
That's good.
So I started to record myself. As crazy as it may sound, I started to look at myself in the mirror and prospect myself in the mirror. And I was like, nah, there's no way I'll talk to this guy. No way. Something needs to change.
That guy sounds like it's a scam.
He sounds like a scam. Something needs to change. And so what I started to realize, reading Skill with People, reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, reading Grant Cardone's book, doing his trainings and every other piece of training that we involve ourselves with when it comes to personal and professional development, I kept hearing the same thing over and over and over. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. I knew the people liked me, but there was no trust there. And so I started implementing into my presentations. I started implementing, if you trust me, just like from the GoPro event, if you're willing to do the work, you're coachable. If you will allow me to coach you, if you have a burning desire, if you trust me, we can make some things happen. And I just started to develop that posture of I will not lose. Even if you tell me no, I will not lose. And so I started telling my prospects, if you get X amount of people onto a Zoom call, this is what I am going to do. This is what's going to happen. And I started speaking it into myself and I started visualizing it. And I take that, that personal time, like Corey said, in the mornings, I take a little bit more than probably most people. I take about an hour and I just sit there and visualize where I am in Legal Shield, not where I am now, but where I am in Legal Shield, Platinum Hancock, and, then I have to wake up from that visualization and it hurts that it's not real. And so I know when I get up out of the bed, no, you got to get this. It has to be done. And so what started to happen is as I started to speak things into my life and speak things into the lives of my prospects, when it came to the presentations and the memberships, those things started to come to pass. They started to happen. And I said, man, I like this, this power of suggestion thing. I'm going to suggest it to myself and suggest it to them. And what happened is I started looking at our compensation plan. And when I began to look at it, I said, man, it only takes, if I do $400 in premium, and then I recruit 3 people and help them do $400 in premium, that's executive director. That's way beyond executive director if you're looking at it from the premium dollars. And so I started breaking it down to my new recruits that way. If you do this, you can go from here to here. Now, how would that feel? And I would sit there and make them visualize how it would feel to not have to worry about money anymore. And then things just started clicking for everybody.
Well, and I imagine, so like you said, I know you've been doing a lot of production yourself. Has it been right around that $400? You've used that number a lot. Is that kind of a?
It's been about right there. So now I'm starting to look at just senior. To be honest, I'm beyond senior director production when it comes to visualization. I'm working on pushing executive director and personal premium. And I will tell you what my secret is to get it done.
Yeah, you might as well just make 6 figures on your own and then teach other people to do the same. Because my point was this, right? You use $400 in premium without me knowing. You use that number because that's what you're doing. So if I go to somebody else, right? We talked about this in duplication, right? Mm-hmm. If I talk to somebody else, it's not like, oh, hey, if you just go do this, you can make money. It's like, hey, I know exactly how to do $400 in premium personally. I do it like clockwork. I can show you how to do the same. In fact, if you do that and help 3 other people to do the same, right, you'll make X. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very simple. And you can just hand somebody your playbook.
Yep.
Right. So imagine handing somebody a playbook, right, that really wants it, because you really want it. Corey really wants it. Certainly I do, right? Like, hey, how can I ensure that I make X, 6 figures, whatever it is? Imagine handing somebody that playbook. That's pretty cool. I like that. That was good, Corey. You I don't know what you got that you can, come back with that, but that's going to be tough to beat. I'm just messing with you, man. No, Corey's been killing it. So one thing I think, I've brought this up, Corey, a few times when we've been on calls, but I think it's just, I don't know. It's pretty incredible, right? So one thing for everybody to know, like me and Corey work together, And from the beginning, when it wasn't going well till today, incredibly consistent, wakes up every day, makes the calls, does the appointments, just whether he likes it or not, seemingly. Now, we've had some conversations, and look, if you're an entrepreneur, right, if you agree with this statement, type yes in the comments. We are, by definition, entrepreneurs, right? We don't have bosses and things like that. We're doing our own thing. And some days it's like, I'm going to get rich. And the very next day, it's like, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? It is crazy. So if you can relate to that, don't leave me hanging. Just type yes in the comment section. But yeah, it can be that way sometimes. And so for Corey, when it wasn't going well, he still just the guy was just incessant, making calls every day, blowing my phone up. And sometimes I'm like, is this guy ever going to quit? He's not even doing well. And I'm so glad that he didn't. But Corey, if there's anything that you can share about that, about, keep doing it even when it's seemingly not working, because, you have a win right on the other corner. And I know that's happened several times for you that I know of, probably more that I don't know of.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. It has. It has. I'm sure if you had taken my blood pressure at the beginning, and if you took it now, it's not the same. The memories.
He's just like, yes.
Oh, it's not the same. It's not the same. It isn't. But hey, always worth it. You cannot give up. I know this is something I'm not sure everyone's, really going to be able to share, but if I'm going to get my chance to live in this world and I'm here, obviously I have it. I decided long before Legal Shield that I would not be someone who gave up. That was kind of instilled in me before. Never, however, before Legal Shield had I really had to put that, to the test, had I really had to not give up. But I want God to have mine. I really don't want to just exist here and have lived a life. It needs to have been one that has brought something. And I'm not going to see the end of it if that's not there. So, that was one. A more, maybe even digestible, way to look at it is this. One more thing, one more time, one thing I really, really desire is to be able to go back overseas. And I would want to be able to work from home so that I can pick up and visit another country, or so I can proceed to continent and country hop, if you will, the way I love to put it. And I knew that if I stopped, that was going down the drain, that I could just say goodbye to that. And I would look at myself in the mirror and just, it would be like, what's it going to be? Yeah, okay, I'll make the next phone call. Look at my phone, look down at my phone, look back at my own eyes in the mirror, look down at my phone, cry on the inside, hardly not on the outside, because I didn't have another option. No other option. So had to make the next call, and that's it. You have to want it bad enough. Something, you have to have your why. So my first one is my most important. Second one is my second important. But for either of them, I'd have continued.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Either of them. I like that. Well, guys, man, this has been incredible. So for everybody to know, just a couple things, right? If you're watching, if you're sharing this with other folks, and you want to stay tuned in, number one, head on over to youngproshowcase.com. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, right? You'll get a notification when we're live. You'll get notifications when we put content out. Also, if you want to be on the first to know list, we have a Young Pros first to know list. You can go to youngprosambassador.com, youngprosambassador.com. It's free to go there. You fill out a little form. You can pick up the Zoom screen that you see Michel with if you ever get on Zoom. If not, no big deal. But you're first to know, if we have a top training that we're doing that's open for everybody, like tomorrow night with one of our multi-millionaire club members. Tomorrow night, you can be on the first to know list. Or if we have an incentive like we do right now, you can pick up some Young Pro swag and be looking a certain way when we're at convention, or when we have other things that we roll out. You'll always be the first to know via email, via text. So just go to youngprosambassador.com, fill out the form. But gentlemen, I mean, this has been great. Like, I've actually I've actually taken notes, right? I know lots of times we say, oh, I took so many notes. It's like, I took notes on this one. Some of them are for fun, but this was some good stuff that I wrote down. I appreciate you guys sharing. Hope everybody that's watching got some stuff out of this. But any final words? If not, that's okay. But any final words of encouragement, maybe a tip that was really beneficial to you that we just didn't cover. Corey, since we ended on you, I will give you the first say.
So two, if I may, don't cease to watch those who are where you want to be. Maybe three, if I may, don't forget they too had a rough beginning, at least potentially. I don't know anyone who's substantially more successful than I am, who I follow as an example, who did not have a rough past too, where they wanted to hold their breath and not cease to do so until the end was short, so I've certainly felt that way. Number two, a bit of a random tip, got this from Mr. Darnell Seth. Do read a book written by someone who has been around much longer than you have in doing what you're doing. You can acquire however many years it took them to write that book, and whichever many amount of years they put into writing that book, you can acquire that in a week, in a month, in a year, if you read that already. And then gaining that wisdom is also another thing that will make other people who now, especially after reading that book, know much less than you, substantially less than you, attracted to you. Those are my tips.
That's great. It makes the road shorter, right? That's what we want to do, right? Go down a road, and that's what Michel was talking about, right? You get the playbook, you go down the road, and then you turn around and go, hey, watch for that pothole right over there, right? Take a left when it turns right. So that's great. Michel, final words, any?
Yes, sir. Look, I'm a follow right behind Corey. I challenge everyone. Legal Shield is more about personal development than it is about the money. It's more about personal professional development than it is about the money. I am on my goal. One of my goals for this year is 52 books a year, because the average CEO reads at least 52 books a year, and we are the CEOs of our own Legal Shield business. So go shoot for 52 books a year. Get Audible. It helps. Trust me. But last piece of advice that I would say is I add this to my presentations, and hopefully this inspires someone else out there. I do not expect everyone to be Legal Shield until the day that they die. But I myself make sure everyone knows that I am not going anywhere. I tell every single prospect, every person that I recruit, that I will be Legal Shield to the day that I die, or as I threw up in the Young Pros chat, I will offer the app until I take my eternal nap. Plain and simple. That's it. Because when you see it for yourself and you can transfer that belief to other individuals, they will come along for the ride. They may not do a lot, but they'll come along just to watch you and wait for your success to happen. So, just make sure that if they said it on GoPro, be all in. There's some other choice words, but be all in or go home.
Yeah.
All in or go home, baby.
I've heard it said a little bit differently. What you just said is you don't need to convince people to believe. Mm-hmm. You just need to convince them that you believe.
That you believe it. That's it.
Right. So we're going to stop right there. Really, really appreciate you guys. Again, you can hear more about Michel's story, and soon to be, we'll get Corey's on there too on our Instagram page. That's at Young Pros Official. We'll be back next Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern. And whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, just follow the pages. This is where we're live every single week. It's different things, right? Sometimes we're bringing top interviews from, people that are doing extraordinary things. Sometimes it's, a podcast, more of a conversation, stuff going on where we're breaking stuff apart. Sometimes we're just having fun and being silly. So whatever it is, we're going to bring it to you, and we're going to be entertaining, no doubt. So we'll see everybody next week. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye for now.
Young Pros, baby.